All right, so let me throw up the agenda and we'll get started. Oop, there it is. So there's the annual meeting agenda.
John, you ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for attending, whether in person or online. I'm going to call to order the Villages at River Ridge Association. It is 5:05 on April 23rd, 2025. We'll start off with the roll call. President Rodriguez, Rod, are you online? I'm not hearing anything. Rod, if you're there, just get with us. Vice President / Treasurer Don Becker, that's me. I'm present. Smitty is here. He's a board member. He's present. Board member Jeff, and I screwed up your last name, so I tried it. Songleitner.
Very good.
Songleitner. Okay, I got a little German in me.
Yeah.
Present. David Akers is present online, sir. He's our secretary. All right, so we're missing one. All right, we're gonna go into the quorum, see if we have the quorum, correct?
That's right. And right now we have received 59 proxies, which 30% of our membership is required for a quorum, which is approximately 300, so we're short. But we do not have a quorum.
All right, we got 9 online, other than you, and we have 2 gentlemen sitting here, so we're far off. All right, so because we don't have a quorum, we're not even close to it, we can't continue with the meeting. So I make the motion that we adjourn the meeting based on the lack of quorum, the general membership meeting.
Second motion. Favor? Aye.
Unfortunately, this is what we're running into. Now, you didn't waste your time down here, because we're rolling into right another meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we're adjourned from that. All right.
Yes.
Thanks, John. Okay, now it is 5:07 on April 23rd, 2025. I'm going to call to order the Villages of River Ridge Association Board of Directors meeting. It's going to be the same roll call. Rod, are you online yet? All right, and everybody else is still here. Myself, Smitty, Jeff, and David. Okay, proof of notice was the same email that went out with the 2025 annual membership meeting.
It wasn't an email, it was by mail.
It was by
Postal mail.
I'm sorry, that's right. It was by mail. We got the email. That's right. I saw the email. So it did go out by postal mail. We're going to go into the secretary's report. Now, I just want to keep everybody, remind everybody, the secretary's report is online as well. If you go to villages@riverridge.org, again, villages@riverridge.org, all these reports are on there. Secretary's report is on there as well. In the interest of time, David, did you have anything to report?
No, this will be my last meeting.
Okay.
Signing off the board as of this meeting today. I'm moving.
We mentioned, we're asking in reference to the secretary's report, not your stepping down. We'll get to that.
Okay, no, I don't have anything.
Okay.
All right, were there minutes online?
Yes, the minutes are all online from
Okay,
all the previous, except for the annual, which I haven't written yet because we just adjourned it.
motion the second, all in favor?
Yep.
Aye. Motion passes. Treasurer's report. We're not gonna skip the treasurer's report because we have to do with money, all right? John's gonna
There you
pull that up for us. All right. What you see is what you got right there. So the last one we had was monthly March income, because we're only in April right now. You have the March expenses, the income year to date, the total expenditures as of March 31st, and you see the variance. Down below, you see the total cash position, $91,449.33. Just keep in mind, we did take a little bit of a hit, a little more than we wanted to last year after the storms. There was a lot more cleanup than what we anticipated, but that's why we're a little bit lower than what we would have been. But we're still in a really good position. That's all I have for the treasurer's report.
Motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Move. Third.
David, all in favor?
All in favor. I keep it, my mute button keeps going out, but yeah, I'm all in favor.
That's fine. We're fine with you keeping on mute when you're not talking.
Reports. There are no committee reports from what I understand, correct? We have no committee.
You have no committees.
We don't have an ARC, we don't have a committee, that's right. Old business, John said there's no old business, correct?
Unless you guys remember something from a last meeting you want to talk about.
And new business, all right, we do have some new business. We pull it right there, all right, collections and the board vote on foreclosures. This is what I'm gonna do, so I don't know how we're gonna do this with David though.
He's just not going to hear it.
Okay, well, that's.
Well, he knows what the address is, or he got the only thing that the only thing we're not putting out is the addresses,
The addresses.
and he has them from in the email, so.
Okay. All right. So for the online people, we're gonna meet this and it's, we're meeting this because of some privacy issues, because it's going out, it's on YouTube, so it's going out to everybody. We're not trying to publicly embarrass anybody, but we have 8 addresses that have some serious back pay that they owe the association. So we're not gonna mention any names at all, even here in person. So you're not missing out. We're just gonna announce some of the addresses, but we are gonna mute that. So we'll be back in about 45 seconds.
About that.
All right, John, go.
All right, we should be back on audio.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We just read the addresses of people and the amounts of people that have money due to the association. And we're going to vote on the foreclosures. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
Whether we're gonna do foreclosure or not.
Yes.
And the reason for that is that we found, after discussing with the attorney and stuff, it's costing us more money to put liens on, because you have to renew those. And it costs more to do that than it does just go into foreclosure. So might as well go get the money instead of waiting for them to sell the house.
Every time we contact the attorney, it costs us money, it costs all of us money,
Yeah.
and it's bad enough. And we're not asking for a lot of money. It's what is it, 95 a year?
Yeah,
95.
95.
4 years.
Yeah, there's so, I mean, when you're looking at almost $2,000, that's several years behind.
And this is the biggest ones, but there's a lot more.
Yeah, there are. These are the ones we actually have liens on.
And these are, for clarification, these are people who are moving out. And they have-
No.
No,
They're not.
So what does foreclosure define as?
The foreclosure for the house, because we can put the lien on the house, and then the attorney asked us, the attorney asked it, right?
Yeah.
For us to vote for foreclosure. So we can end up foreclosing the house if they owe. It's a lot cheaper for them to just pay, because if we just keep doing, like, Srini pointed out, we just keep going through the lawyer for everything. They just keep nickel and diming us. That's their job. I mean, I'm not gonna do something for you, God, I'll tell you, if it's my job.
And on the foreclosure, they're gonna be required to actually pay all the current fees and everything.
Yeah.
They've been a lot of time, oh, they're just paying this off, so they're not paying.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we're not trying to get people to move out. We're not trying to force people to move out, but when they moved in, they moved into an HOA. They were well aware that they moved into an HOA. And if they weren't, well, they had one hell of a sales team or something, a realtor live, whatever the excuse is.
Yeah.
They know they owe it.
They've been notified.
They had it.
My only question was is whether we should send a registered letter saying, we're gonna go forward with foreclosure within 30 days if you don't, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, you're gonna have to pay for this, and this. You know.
They do get all of those.
So that-
There's actually a whole procedure in Florida statutes on how to do this. I can briefly go through it. So, because I just did it for 12 other properties, 2 weeks ago. They're all the people that haven't paid for 3 years. So basically the first step is the management company sends a 30-day notice of late assessment. If they do not respond to that, then it goes to the attorney. The attorney sends them a 45-day notice of intent to lien. If they do not respond to that, then the lien is filed. Then when the board decides to send them to foreclosure, the attorney has to send them another certified letter of a 45-day notice of intent to foreclose. So basically what will happen is for these 8 people, tomorrow or the next day when the attorney gets to it, he will send those certified letters out, giving them 45 days to pay, or then they will file the paperwork. So there is a bit of a process. Do we need to wait 3+ years? No, but there was some few things fell between the cracks. So we're gonna try to get, as I said, like these were the biggest. When I was looking at the financials the last time, I realized that it was 8 people hold about almost 1/3 of the debt. So I'm like, if we can clear that up, then that'll do a big, that'll help. So
That haven't paid their $90 in a year,
in multiple years.
because it would take 10 years to get $900.
Correct.
If some people have $2,000,
Yeah.
we're talking
That-
20+ years.
Those amounts do include attorney's fees.
Fees as well. Yeah, it's fees.
So
And there's fines as well.
there's fines, fees, the lien recording fee, all of that's included in those amounts.
It still was, yeah, and we're all human, right, and we all have excuses one way or another. I'd be willing to listen to somebody if they came in and at least listen to what they had to say. I'm not saying I'd buy the story, but at least show up, you know, and make an effort. So, based in light of those facts, everything John just said with the 8 that I just read, I'm gonna make the motion to elect to foreclose on those 8 addresses that we just read.
I second that.
All right. There's a
All in
motion
favor?
All in favor? Aye.
David?
I'm in favor.
Thank you, David. Great. Long run, it's gonna end up saving us money, and hopefully they'll just pay it off, especially some of those lower ones. They can just pay that off and move forward and just.
And maybe if they tell their neighbors, then their neighbors will start paying.
That's right. Like, there's a couple of them there and 2 of them on the same road. Board discussion on dissolving the association.
Okay, that's something I wanted to bring up. I got talking with a few people about it, and then I talked to John about it. Because I had this idea of, I was looking at how many homes there are in River Ridge. And there's over 2,500 homes, 2,543 homes in River Ridge. And there's 17 subdivisions. Right now, there's only 8 subdivisions that are paying for the villages. And that's only 908. So if 908 people are paying for 2,500 homes, seems really unfair. So
Well, 908 is the total in the association.
Correct. So what I was going to put forward was going to the county with an attorney and asking the attorney, or asking their attorneys if they would be willing, or the county would be willing to take over our association and start taking over what we take care of. They might require us to give them what we have in our accounts or whatever, but that doesn't really matter. I mean, we have about 82,000 in there right now for a total, but that would only be, if the county didn't want that, we could divide it up and give everyone about 90,000. It would come up. But to me, if we went to the county and see, because a few people have done it, I'm being told, by some county attorneys. Well, people that work, not for the county, but other attorneys that work with them. And it said it has been done. So, it just depends on how unfair it looks and, you know, how it proceeds from there. But part of our other problem is we also have other new homes and new apartments and new everything else that are also moving in around our area. And they're all using those roads and everything else that goes on. So again, it's just, what they would do is just move the cost. Instead of charging everyone would be get charged on the taxes. And it'd be a much smaller amount because it'd be divided up amongst everyone. So it'd be much more fair. So that's what I'm putting forward. Is that we go to our attorneys, have him go to the county and present what we want to do.
Are you making that motion?
I'm making that motion.
Your second? Yeah, and you can't go into a discussion without a second. Could we table that?
You could.
Okay,
Yeah, if the board is not ready to agree, that's fine. Because again, the main reason was I wanted to get a board vote before I talk to the attorney because that's gonna be money. Because if it doesn't happen, and if it can't happen, you still gotta pay the attorney to do the investigation and to do his part. That's why I want a board vote before I talk to him about it.
without a second. I,
Make a motion to table till our next meeting.
we can do that, talk about that at the, financial, or the budget meeting. Yeah.
Meantime, we can research.
Right, yeah, and so, because it doesn't sound, it doesn't sound bad, but yeah, because we really can't go into discussion because, but I understand what you're saying. But again, without having some background on it, doing a little research, yeah, I'm not willing to second it or vote for it.
In what you said, talking about having the county take over. A couple, 2-3 years ago, someone on our board looked into that as well. There was some upheaval going on. And what they were told was the fees, our HOA dues skyrocket. Almost 3 times what we're paying right now. We're over $200. So we're looking at $600 a house. We don't know what would happen here since this is considerably smaller, a lot less assets. And well, you can't see committees that are doing things.
Yeah.
I think we need to dig more into it.
Yeah,
before
we can do
spending
that.
money.
And have you seen anything like this before, John? Nothing like that? Yeah.
No,
right.
I will admit, my major concern is if it requires a membership vote.
Right.
Because if it requires a membership vote, never gonna happen because you're never gonna get one.
Okay.
So,
Then I'll move that we table the motion, until the fall meeting, if not before, we can bring it up. next week.
you guys can have a meeting
Special
anytime,
meeting.
or a board of directors meeting, but yeah, we can have a meeting between now and then
Okay.
if the board so desires.
All right.
So who is,
Well, yeah, I was curious. So if we were to disband this HOA, larger one, it then defaults to all of the smaller HOA organizations, which is what you're saying that.
And that it would.
no, it would default to the county.
Yeah,
Count-
yeah,
I would
the
have-
property would default. to the property.
Yes.
property,
Yes.
right? So,
The maintenance that the master association
right,
maintains and when their duties would be transferred to the county, which would then would transfer to the tax roll.
okay,
You know, I'm thinking they would do that because it is a public road
right.
and it's being used by everyone, kind of public road subdivisions.
Yeah, so because the county owns the road.
Yeah.
But we're required, the village is required to do all the landscaping and to pay the electric bill for the streetlights and to do storm cleanup when a hurricane rips through.
Yeah.
That's what the plus, because it's an HOA, there are statutory requirements like insurance. The board has to have D&Os and errors and emissions insurance and all kinds of other, actually, you guys have now self-insured the monument sign. But you have the monument sign, that maintenance is held by the association. Yes, the River Ridge monument sign when you come in, It's
Yeah,
on Ridge
yeah.
and
Ridge. Yeah.
River Ridge. Yeah.
Um,
So all of those things are all maintenance, plus you're paying my salary. So all of those things are all paid by your dues, which if the association was dissolved, a lot of those costs you wouldn't have to deal with anymore.
Yeah,
And the other costs would be transferred to the county, which would then be paid through the taxes, however they would decide to divide it against the members in that neighborhood. I have no idea. And do keep in mind that the Villages at River Ridge was also, is 8 associations and it was supposed to be like 10. And due to some lawsuits, because the developer screwed up in the beginning, a couple associations like the Oaks, and there's another one that don't pay into it anymore, even though they get all the benefits, because paperwork wasn't done right 30, 40 years ago, and they got out of it. So,
okay, and then my next question.
oh, and that includes the church. He was also part of the lawsuit. The church that's on River Ridge Boulevard. So him, all of the members, everybody that attends that church, that drives on that road, they all get it for free. So,
Like you said, we're all paying for it, okay. And topic for another conversation, like what are the actual benefits of just maintaining that road, like how quick, I know the county would be a little slower for some cleanup and that stuff. Okay, that helps, thank you.
All right, so we're.
David, did you have any thoughts on this before we move on?
The zoo, it featured YouTube
Uh, I'm kind of torn a little bit. I mean, if it's not financially able to stay afloat and do everything, it might be best to dissolve it.
Right, well, your thoughts on just going to the attorney?
I would
Is
get their input on it and see if it's even feasible.
Okay. That would put us at a tie then. So. I don't know, you wanna,
Well, again, there was no second, so like I said,
Yeah.
it should have been no discussion. So I guess,
Second by me,
what's that?
second by me.
You did say?
Yeah.
Oh, all right,
Yeah, right roll down.
okay.
okay, all right, we'll hold it off then for the,
Table, we'll have to figure that out.
yeah, I mean, if the current board members who are planning to stay on the board would like to do some independent research before
Sure.
that's,
I'm not opposed to looking into it.
Yeah.
By any means.
okay. All right, so that will be, we'll hold off on that until the next meeting.
Board of Directors reorganization. So every year, we take a look at this, and, I know Rod's been president the last.
Well, do you want to do the step downs and the,
Oh, okay.
let's do that part
We can
first.
Do that. David, you're online. You said you were gonna step down this year, correct?
I'm having a hard time hearing.
This is now the point where you can, announce that you're stepping down from the board.
Yes, I'll be stepping down effective after this meeting.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time on the board. We do appreciate it. And Smitty, you're stepping down as well,
I'm gonna step down as well.
okay? John, you have everything you need from them?
That this is all that I need. It'll be notated in the minutes. Rod is still on the board, so you are currently at 3. You can run the board at 3. Unless you gentlemen want to join the board of directors.
All
So
right, so
if it's,
Rod are still on the board.
right,
You did have a self-nomination, is that correct?
if you want to consider it, that person is not here and I will say technically, she did not nominate herself. Somebody in her association nominated her.
No.
All
right.
But I will leave that to your discretion.
Yeah, no, if it was a self-nomination, I mean, I consider it, but, and I understand. I get it, okay, so Helen Yager,
Yeah.
somebody had nominated, Ms. Yager over at Moorgate, on Moorgate. Now, if it was a self-nomination, I'd consider it, but if Ms. Yager isn't even here, She may not even know she was.
She does.
Does she? Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Did she show an interest in it to you, John, or? All right, so, well, yeah, again, if it was a self-nomination, I would consider it. I don't know, I'll make the motion, but
I think we should talk with her. I've dealt with her quite a bit because of, they're inside of our gates, if you will.
okay,
A lot of communication back and forth.
okay.
Happy to talk with her.
Well, again, yeah, we can talk with her, but we can't necessarily, I wouldn't recommend nominating her unless she was here. If she was here, I'd be more than welcome to this side of the table right now, because obviously we're gonna have some room. So we can bring somebody on board afterwards. right?
Any duly noticed
Yes.
meeting. Any duly noticed board of directors meeting.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. So we can bring her
Mhm.
up next time. If she's interested, yeah, I'd recommend have her reach out to us.
Absolutely.
And if we can, because we're gonna table that one anyway, we get a little more information, she can join us there and she can join. And we'll, if you're interested. All right.
So that will keep the board at 3, which is perfectly fine. You would need 2 for a quorum, which is also doable. If the board of directors are 3, you only need 2 for a quorum. So that's perfectly doable.
All right. We're gonna reorganize, or well, we're just gonna go over the different positions. All right, so Rod's not here. He's still on the board, but he's not here. He's been president for the last 2 years. I know he's president down at one of the other,
He's vice president,
vice president
Mhm.
down at one of the other, what's behind us there at Windsor Place.
Hampton Village.
Hampton Village.
Yeah.
They're my neighbors. Anybody, well, it's me, you and Rod. Are you interested in the president's position? No?
Sure.
You wanna do it? You wanna step up? Are you gonna have the time? If not, I'll step up. I don't care, it doesn't matter.
I'll work behind you.
I will support you.
I just took over as president for it.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds good. Then, I'll throw my hat in the ring to be the, president.
All in favor?
I can't make that nomination. I'm gonna throw my hat.
Nominate.
I'm in favor.
You can nominate yourself for a
I
president,
can what?
as long as the rest of the board is in agreement.
Okay. All in favor? Aye, you still vote, okay. All opposed? Cause you never know, you get those every once in a while. All right,
Vice president.
so is it vice president and treasurer?
No, it's we're doing them one at a time.
Okay.
Vice president. The vice president will also be a secretary or treasurer, but we'll do vice president first.
Jeff, I'd like to nominate you to be the vice president. We can accept that, okay? Take a second on that? I don't think he can second himself, can he?
It's as long as the board is in agreement. I mean, does anyone on the board object? Okay, then. Treasurer?
No one's talking, I'm starting to feel dirty. Yeah, we're just gonna vote for ourselves up here. All right, so treasurer. Jeff, do you want to do the VP and treasurer duties? Or do you want to be the VP, you can be the secretary
Mhm.
as well?
Yep.
Or you
I
want-
can do either one.
Okay,
Uh,
which would you prefer?
I would assume since John takes most, care of the treasurer portion of.
I do most of the secretary. I do the minutes too, unless you want to start doing the minutes for the meetings. So as I described for most people, most of my associations, because they have me, the treasurer's job is basically, we do all the financials. Your job is to review the financials and make sure that they're accurate. And then at meetings, you talk about them. The secretary's job is, since I do the minutes and we do the announcements for the meetings by postal mail, then the secretary really would just read the meeting minutes or motion to waive the readings. So
Can people online, other than Dave, can they type in or anything?
not currently, and not until I show the slide that has
Oh,
the call-in
I
information.
wondered if,
Because I'm trying to keep the meeting quiet for,
well, and plus the board of directors, yeah.
yeah. This is for the board to decide, so.
Okay, so that automatically moves Rod into the treasurer, and there's only 3 of us, right?
Yes, so,
Unless there's any opposition. Rod into the treasurer.
all right. Perfect. Great.
Okay,
Oh, and remind me before either one of you guys leaves, I need to do the annual State of Florida annual report, and I need a board member to sign it. So I need one of you guys. That'll take a couple minutes after. We'll do that after the adjournment of the meeting.
would walk on topics.
All right, this is the point where I'm going to put everything up on the screen. If anybody is listening or watching, that is the Zoom call-in information. If they would like to join, I'll give everybody a couple minutes to see if we get any people joining the meeting. Otherwise, if the board wants to talk about anything not on the agenda, they have that. Otherwise, we can give them all a few minutes.
To talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is how I solved the problem with you, Jeff. Remember when you were in there and we were like going like, how are we going to get? Yeah. No, this just makes it easier. They can call in by phone or you can hit the URL link. It does and join the Zoom meeting. Either way, it doesn't matter. I have to change screens on my end so that I
Or
can.
anybody here, gentlemen, as well.
Yeah, this goes for you guys as well. I just,
Are you guys, how long you guys been?
2 years
Two for both of them. First meeting
in person.
for this one? Well,
we can wait as long as you guys feel comfortable
yeah,
waiting.
well, anybody online, anybody has anything to say? John's got the information up there right now.
I have one question.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I don't know if this applies here or elsewhere, the entrance to Rosewood that's along Ridge Road.
River Ridge Boulevard or Ridge
Ridge
Road?
So Ridge Road, the extension that goes out to,
That's not us.
okay, then never.
Or the one in the back.
Yeah.
And there was
That
the
just
cop
got
always, the
approved,
cop
I
always says,
understand, just in the past about 60 days.
Did it?
Yeah,
Any idea timeline?
the county. No.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that's good to know.
Is there discussion about townhomes going there?
Oh, no. As far as I know, the Villages is done. There's not going to be anybody else. Your Rosewood was the last one that was part of the Villages.
When did they enter?
When you had turnover, I think your turnover was a couple of years ago, and that turnover also triggered the Villages turnover. Which is when we had our first meeting 2 years ago. That was largely triggered by turnover because Rosewood is like one of the largest associations and it's based on percentages. So I think that was when we hit that 50-60% rate where all of a sudden the developer was no longer managing the master association because the Villages had been under developer control since its inception in the '90s. It's 30 years old. I know that for a fact. The Villages has been around for about 30 years. So they sign maybe 35. They did their preservation of declaration in 2020. So they have to do that within 30 years. So it's over. Mhm.
all right, anybody, thank you. Anybody online have anything?
I don't think anybody joined. Nope,
Okay.
nobody joined.
That's the case, we're down to the adjournments. If there's nothing else, I make the motion that we adjourn the meeting at 5:39. Second, all right, all in favor? Aye, all opposed? Let's have it.
All right, meeting
So
adjourned.
we are adjourned. Next meeting is fall 2025. That's gonna be the budget meeting. Dates, exact date to be determined.
You guys have a wonderful day.
You too, David.
All right, thanks, David. Thank you again.